So I want to kind of keep it to the very first trip that you went on and how you knew what to charge, and was it just opportunity, and then kind of go into what were your top 3 trips. So first trip, man, take me through it. What was that like and where'd you go?
So my first trip was to LA, and a lot of times in this space, you go by supply and demand. So if you have a lot of videos to make of a same type of product, then you naturally charge more for it. But at the time, I was never invited to trips, so I just took it, didn't charge them anything. I agreed to make like a video and a few other things, and it was to LA, but it was for one night. And I didn't even bother asking to stay like 2 nights or something, and it was for this private jet concept that they were working on, like a hovercraft private jet that was supposed to be consumer available, and they had like a little plastic model of it, and that was it. I think the company was, I'm trying to think, it was the XTI, I think Trifan 600. It was something that was not in the space that I was in, and there was some guys there that I think I'd watched before. Sab Kyle was there, and some aviation guys. So yeah, we went to LA, and we had to take a helicopter from Santa Monica to a airplane hangar. I think it's Van Nuys or whatever it's called. And that's where they had the presentation. And it was a good one. I mean, it was a bit awkward. People had to add clapping sounds into their videos because when they pulled the tarp off of the product they were announcing, nobody clapped. And they also had me interview the engineer, and I had no idea about anything aviation. And it was a bit awkward, but for the first trip, it was kind of cool to realize that we'd be able to travel somewhere. I remember when I told my mom, she thought it was like a joke. Like why is somebody
where was
flying?
your channel at the time?
And I'll have to check, but it wasn't huge,
like
but it wasn't
ballpark.
small. I think it might have been over 100,000 subscribers, but it was just out of the blue. You get like an email from a media company that says, come fly out to LA, and like being the first trip, you don't really know if it's real or not. But yeah, I went with a friend, and it was only for one night. So the funny story after that was I missed the flight because it was my first time flying on my own. It was the first trip to LA that I'd been to on my own, and I didn't judge LA traffic. So to get to the private helicopter flight to get to the event, I missed the first one completely.
Oh, man.
And so I guess I had a second wave that picked us up. But after that, we had to go straight to the airport because our flight was leaving the same day, and it was a one-night trip. And I get to the airport, and they swab your hands. And like, if you've been in an airplane hangar, you've touched a lot of metals and things that could be parts of a bomb. And so the explosive sensor went off at TSA. They pull me aside. They're going through my dirty underwear, all this other stuff. I was in there for like 20 to 30 minutes, and that was probably as a result of just like, I don't know, touching anything that could have been in that airplane hangar. But they called like head of security over, and I was just like, I must have been like 18 at the time, and I was just like so confused, and I was already late for my flight. LAX is a big airport, and I don't think I realized that. Like Victoria is like, I mean, it's a tiny place, and gate 1 to 7 is like 30 seconds walk. So my friend was on WestJet, I was on Air Canada, and he's going to Vancouver, I'm going to Victoria, and he gets dropped off at Terminal 7, and I'm like, oh, I'm like Terminal 2. I can just like walk a couple steps down, no problem. It ended up being like a 40-minute walk in 25, 30 degree weather Celsius.
Where was your friend? What happened to him?
Oh, he was already like on his flight, and then I do my long walk and end up getting flagged by TSA. So yeah, that was my first trip.
Oh man, so what'd you end up learning from that besides like to wash your hands before you go through TSA?
I also left my camera equipment on the plane as a carry-on, and I had to go back on the plane. So it was like the classic what you would expect out of the first trip. Almost missed the flight and ended up missing the helicopter flight, left a phone in an Uber, a backup phone in the Uber, and just like all that. The way we recorded it was also pretty whack. It was all over the place. It was some of it shot on a phone.
What was the company looking to get out of having you there?
I think just like a video, they were looking for some tech guys, and they just came across. I think that's the cool thing about the tech space. You get invited to a whole bunch of stuff, whether it's in your space or not. Sometimes it might be in the lifestyle field. We got invited to a Lincoln trip last year, which might sound a little bit funny, but it was actually one of the better put together trips after being used to going on like these tech trips where they kind of just like fly you out and leave you alone, which is perfectly fine. You can explore the place by yourself, but yeah, it was, I think that's where it really differs. Like between the industries, you see like Revolve doing crazy stuff at Coachella, the lifestyle and beauty industry, they spend a lot of money on those trips, and I'm sure they get paid great as well. They go to like Fiji and stuff and the Maldives. We're not going to get to go to that anytime soon, but We get to go to New York 6 times in a quarter, so that's fun.